Scott Scott stoked for this. Tampa. This should be good. Should be good stuff. Good old story time. Like the old Enoch days. We never finished Enoch. We said we'd go back to it. We never did. It's a tough read, though. I don't know if it's the greatest for live. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is either. This would be kind of a, we play it out and see. You're such a babe. Hey, Ruth. The Discord thingy is going. This will be very chill. And if we need to stop at any point for any reason, because we want to look something up or search something, just like rudely interrupt in the voice channel or in YouTube chat, but there's a delay. The voice channel would be right away, obviously. But I'm down for that. So feel free to rudely interrupt anytime. And we will just look into whatever we want to look into. Because it's a lot of information. And a lot of new information, I would assume, for most people. But it looks very good. It's very interesting. We'll wait a few minutes and then we'll roll on. The news has been wild.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
Totally wild.
Meltdowns. The meltdowns have been wild.
The meltdowns, yeah, they've been insane, but less interesting. What's more interesting is like stock market all-time high, NASDAQ all-time high, Bitcoin all-time high, Houthis immediate ceasefire. What's the?
Oh, you're true. That's true.
Zelensky is like congratulating Trump. The financial system's going insane. It's the highest in all of history that the market in general has reacted to a presidential election.
Do you think that'll last, or is it just kind of like a hype bump?
No, it's hype. Yeah, I'm under the belief that a lot of people don't agree with, but I think we're going to experience some serious financial turmoil under Trump because they've stacked the deck against him pretty harshly. Yeah. So no, I think it'll be a big pop, maybe ride through Christmas, because usually around Christmas the stock market does all right anyways during a decent market. But I think 2025 mid somewhere, I think it'll crash. Yeah. But either way,
I mean, I don't know. What do you think about the tariffs? Because I think that might take up to 2 years to even have any kind of benefit.
Oh, it'll take time. Yeah, tariffs is one of the things I didn't know a lot about until I got into like general finance. And I think it's still like something that's really misunderstood. I think it's going to take time to go into effect. And then I think there is a degree of truth behind what people are saying, where if tariffs are held for too long and they're not functioning exactly how they should, that cost will go to us. So prices will go up. So I assume, you have to assume like he knows that and he has people smarter than him working on that. But like tariffs are a finicky thing. So if they're not done properly, the things people are saying about them can become true pretty fast. But I think, it'll take probably a year or 2 years to go into effect. But they're good.
It's a gamble. He's banking on them kind of moving their business here.
Yeah. That's a big part of it.
Them just being anyone.
Any business, yeah. And even then still outside of that, they're a gamble anyways, just because of how they function and how the companies here react to them, and what regulations the companies are under and how they're allowed to react to them. Like that's the scary part, is that if we're not regulating properly, from what I understand, I'm not a professional, but from what I understand, like if we're not regulating the US companies properly, the cost will pass to us. But it seems that they have that sorted out. And I know as long as they're not really long term, regulation is right, and everything is proposed properly, then it's a really functional way of doing international business. But everything has to be, from what I understand, everything has to be pretty up to par. But
they certainly have to be regulated, right? I agree.
Yeah, otherwise it's a house of cards. It'll just immediately be thrown on us. Like the company's not going to eat it if they don't have to, so they have to. And the company does not, like, the company here shouldn't have to eat it, but if they have to, they'll definitely pass it to us. So the whole buck needs to be pushed out of the country and needs to stay there. And I know that keeping that functioning properly is like it's a tenuous thing. But if you can do it, if they can do it, I think it's fantastic. It's one of those wait and see things. But I think you're right. I think it'll take half of his term to even get that stuff maybe even functioning, but definitely to like start feeling it in a positive light.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Sit around and watch and wait and
Yeah.
participate best way we can. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to be positive. I don't feel positive on the inside, but I am the town cynic. So
It's because there's too many variables.
there's too many variables, and I feel like things. I don't know. I don't want to make this about politics, but yeah. I'm trying to be positive. That's all that matters. Elle said, I have all notifications off and never get YouTube notifications. Only Discard. They censoring your Christian. What? YouTube notifications are like historically choppy from what I understand. I've never experienced it though. I get notifications that I ask for, and I feel like I see the things for the most part that I'm supposed to. But I definitely hear different things for sure. This is I feel like everybody's going to come this here. The Book of Giants. So if you have been around for a long time, we read by the same author a portion of the Book of Enoch. This is the book from what I've gathered. This is the Book of Enoch with the Book of Giants in chapter 5. So the table of contents reads: introduction, the Aramaic version, the Manichaean version, all of the Book of Giants, history of the Book of Enoch, which I don't believe is the same from what I was looking at very briefly to what the other book that we got a little bit into last time. So I think it'll be different information. And then 5 is the Book of Enoch, including the Book of Giants. So that might be in large part stuff that we read way back when. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out when we get there. I do want to read the introduction though, because there's a lot of information here as I was kind of scanning through. So I think this is good stuff, and it'll kind of set the stage. So the introduction to the Book of Giants, the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the Book of Enoch. The discovery of the first Dead Sea Scrolls in a remote Judean desert cave in 1947 is considered one of the greatest archaeological events of the 20th century. Oh, I do want to say too, now that there's more people here, the Discord thing is open, and feel free to rudely interrupt me at any point. At any point, for any reason. If we want to Google something or check on something or whatever, like very lax. So don't feel bad. Or if something goes over your head or doesn't make sense, and I didn't explain it, and I can't explain it, then let's stop and take the time to actually look into it so we know what's going on. East of the city of Jerusalem, the mountainous landscape plummets 1,200 meters to the lowest point on Earth. This is the Dead Sea. Many biblical stories are set in the cave and the hills of the region. Here, King David fled from King Saul and hid in the desert's mountain caves. Here, Jesus struggled with the devil, resisting temptation. Here, the community of Qumran hid their most valuable treasures, scrolls of ancient wisdom and religious insight. For thousands of years, the Judean desert held secrets buried by the Jews of Qumran, a group most scholars refer to as the Qumran community. Much of this community was made up of the Essenes. This strict sect of Judaism used the caves to protect their literary treasures, which were scrolls hidden in seal jars, placed deep within the caves, perched high in the area of the Dead Sea. These scrolls and their secrets were revealed by a young Bedouin shepherd one day in 1947. Prompted by the loss of one of his sheep, a shepherd of the Ta'amare tribe left his flock to search for the stray. While searching, he found an opening in the steep hillside. Curious, as many young men are, he tossed a stone into the cave. That is such a young man thing to do. Curious about a hole in something, he threw a rock through it. The rock answered with the sound of pots breaking, and he was compelled to investigate. He had stumbled on the greatest find of the century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Side note, if you've never looked into the Dead Sea Scrolls as a generic total rabbit hole, it is something like, shame on you. It's something everybody needs to do. So if you haven't done it, definitely do it. In the caves were a number of pots. The majority of the pots were empty, begging the question, begging the question, had vandals and thieves been there first, stealing much of the precious treasure? Some of the jars were still intact, with the lids sealed in place. He opened the seals to reveal the ancient scrolls. They were wrapped in linen and blackened with age. No rubies, no diamonds, no gold. Just a bunch of old scrolls turning to dust before his eyes. He was not impressed, the young man who throws rocks down curious holes. Wondering if he could trade them for anything of value, he and several companions brought the skulls to Kando, a Bethlehem antiquity dealer. Oh, Kando.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that part.
Which part? The pawn shop?
Yeah.
That they took it to the pawn shop, basically?
Yeah.
They took it to Kando.
Right. You can keep going, yeah.
This was the pawn shop man, a Bethlehem antiquities dealer, for appraisal. Kando seemed to recognize the age and the value of the find, so he sent the Bedouins back to the cave. How do you say that? Bedouins? Back to the caves in search of...
Bedouin. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see if I remember. It's unlikely. Back to the cave in search of more treasures. They returned with a total of 7 scrolls. The boys had no idea of the value of their find, and so the Bedouin sold 4 of the 7 scrolls to Kando and 3 to a second antiquities dealer named Salahi. Kando, in return, resold the 4 scrolls to Archbishop Samuel, head of the Syrian Orthodox monastery of St. Mark in Jerusalem. Interesting. Soon after the announcement of the find, Bedouin treasure hunters and archaeologists descended on the site and the surrounding caves. Ultimately, they would find hundreds of ancient scrolls and fragments, including the oldest existing copies of the Hebrew Bible. Big find. Big girl, big one. The scrolls ranged in date from the 3rd century BCE, mid-Second Temple period, to the 1st century of the Common Era, before the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE. The scrolls provide an unprecedented picture of the diverse religious beliefs of ancient Judaism and of daily life during the Second Temple period when Jesus lived and preached. While Hebrew is the most frequently used language in the scrolls, about 15% were written in Aramaic and several in Greek. These scrolls' materials are made up mainly of parchment, although some are papyrus, and the text of one scroll is engraved on copper. A quarter of these non-biblical manuscripts are sectarian and reflect the life and philosophy of a specific community. These core texts consist of eschatological biblical commentaries, apocalyptic texts, liturgical works, and regulations or rules that govern community life. So virtually everything. In the early days of scrolls research, scholars attributed all of the Qumran scrolls to the Essene community. In recent years, however, this consensus has been challenged and modified, though many scholars still maintain a link between the Essene and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Oh my god, a Pawn Stars episode, Apostles version. That would be phenomenal. In that time, there's this guy. I gotta try to find this. There's somebody on TikTok that I wandered across one day, but he is a cartoonist. But all he does is make like humorous comedic scenes from the Bible. And they're really good. They're really good. They're very funny. The cartoon, like, he's good at what he does. I gotta find him. I gotta send him to you guys. It's very well done. He deserves a lot of credit, and he doesn't have like a big following or anything. It's very sad. In that time, the Essenes were one of the 3 basic sects of Judaism. Jewish sects described in ancient sources were the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essene sect. It is thought the majority of the scrolls were written and hidden by the Essenes. One of the many discoveries from
You said it right. It's the scenes.
It's a scenes, right? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can always count on you for proper pronunciation. One of the many discoveries from the caves of Qumran is a scroll given the name the Book of Giants. It is thought to have been based on the Book of Enoch, a pseudo I'm gonna have a hard time with that. Pseudo pictographical.
Sorry, pseudo. Okay.
Right?
Pseudo
Pseudo-pictographical.
There's no T. I know I have the pseudopigrapha, so it's pseudopigraphical.
Pseudopigraphical.
Right.
Pseudopigraphical. Jewish work from the 3rd century BCE, which was based on Genesis 6, 1 through 4. The Book of Giants, like the Book of Enoch, concerns itself with the Nephilim, which in the Enoch version are the offspring of fallen angels, who are called the Watchers. The angels saw the beauty of the daughters of men. The broke their allegiance to heaven. They broke their allegiance, I assume. They broke their allegiance to heaven, descended to earth, and married the women, and thus fathered giants. The book attempts to fill in the details about the giants and their offspring that the Book of Enoch is lacking. Indeed, there has been a theory put forth that the Book of Giants was actually part of the Book of Enoch at one time. The text relates how some giants named Ohia, Hahia, and Mahwe, sons of the fallen angels, were compelled to dream. In these dreams, they foresaw the biblical deluge and their own demise. There is a dialogue concerning the futility of fighting God or his angels, even though they could conquer any human alive. Seeing their coming fate... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is a big deal, Joe. Like, we need some drama music, like bum, 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 after you say some of these lines.
You need to hire me a producer then.
Yeah, maybe.
Seeing their coming fate, they seek to enlist the help of Enoch. There's a lot of typos with they and thee. They mention... No, that's not one. I'm just stupid. The mention of Enoch and the storyline referencing the patriarch places the Book of Giants firmly in the list of Enochian texts, along with 1st Enoch, 2nd Enoch, 3rd Enoch, also known as the Ethiopic Book of Enoch, the Slavonic Secrets of Enoch, and the Hebrew Book of Enoch, respectively. In the Qumran version of the Book of Giants, there is a brief mention of one of the giants, Ohia, whose name is found in the Babylonian Talmud, where it is said, Sion and Og, mentioned in the Book of Numbers, were brothers as they were sons of Ohia. Ohia. Interesting. So it's just a different spelling?
Does it... It doesn't say... I wish, like, you know how, like, when you're reading the Bible and then, like, there's that margin in the middle where it shows other Bible verses that are parallel to it?
Yeah.
I know. I really wish we had something like that with...
I'm trying to get the verse right now, and it's not coming up easily.
Good luck with the next paragraph, by the way.
Yeah, well, this is why Enoch was so freaking ridiculous, because I was just trying to say words that are way over
like
my head.
We need like Snoop Dogg to do all of these.
That there is an AI Snoop Dogg that will read to you.
The Bible, did you know that? They have a...
No, I did not know that.
Where they do, and oh my gosh, I just could not believe it.
That's funny. I used, when I was studying for a financial license, I had all my study material read to me by Snoop Dogg, and it was fantastic. It was very good.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good.
Is those in there?
Yeah, no, it was all out. All out.
Really?
Talking about like the futures markets and leverage and debt, and it was wonderful. It was very good.
That's so cool. Scott, we want to know how many or what are the books in the Dead Sea Scrolls? Like the full list of them is what we were kind of wanting to look up.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm trying to find the name of Ohia. Ghost says to just call... It was a girl, wasn't it? No, they were brothers. Okay, right. Ohio. But I feel like you can't say Ohio anymore because the kids have made Ohio mean something else, and I don't fully grasp what it actually means, so now I'm afraid to say the word. I found this alternative spelling
Reminds me, I'm hungry.
also. So we have the two spellings in the book right now, and then the one I just put in YouTube is what I'm getting from the interwebs. But this is in the interwebs is telling me that spelling is in relation to the Book of Giants, not the Book of Numbers. I'm having a hard time finding this name at all in the Book of Numbers. Am I just blowing over it?
This is the I don't know. This is the part though. Like I don't know if you have any Catholic writings, but I'm telling you, like a lot of these names, when I remember just years ago doing research, and it was the Catholic books that had a lot of them, and it was either that or your guys' video games. Those are the only times I found names like that.
These types of names?
Yeah. I could never find it like on Google or anywhere. I had to go deep into like some bunch of old text.
Interesting.
Do you have any books like that though, Joe? Where it's like the really, really old Catholic type writing?
Okay. I do in the attic. I'd have to pull them out, but yeah, I definitely do from my mom.
Yeah, that's where it would be. I can almost guarantee you.
Okay, I'll look at that. That'd be interesting. Okay, well we'll skip. And maybe I'm sure Scott will come back with what Rodriguez was talking about. I don't feel like I need to embarrass myself and try to pronounce all these names.
We'll give you a pass, yeah.
We're just going to blow past it. So,
right.
Same.
Sizzle, and then he is a fallen angel. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, is the same as another one. All of these are basically the same names. He is a fallen angel of the apocryphal Jewish and Christian tradition. Okay. That ranked in the heavenly hierarchy as one of the Grigori, meaning watchers in Greek. Grigori, watchers, Greek. The name Shemyaza, I think I nailed that actually. Shemyaza means infamous rebellion. The combination of Shem, meaning name or fame, whether positive or negative, and Azaz, which means rebellion or arrogance as a negative particle. This name occurs in the Enochian literature. We meet the Grigori in several books, some of which are considered apocryphal, and some are pseudepigrapha, texts written by someone unknown but attributed to authors of prominence, such as 2nd Enoch. In the book of 2nd Enoch, we read from chapter 18, "The men took me on to the 5th heaven and placed me, and there I saw many and countless soldiers, called Grigori, of human appearance, and their size was greater than that of great giants, and their face withered, and the silence of their mouths perpetual. And there was no service on the 5th heaven, and I said to the men who were with me," sorry, it cuts off into a note. I'm trying to see. That's interesting. Okay, so the verse cuts off. It says, "See 2nd Enoch 1:7," and then there's a note added. The note says, "The Greek transliteration, egregori, is the source of the term Grigori," which makes sense. The egregori are the watchers, a group of fallen angels who mated with mortal women and produced the Nephilim mentioned in the book of Jubilees. 1st Enoch in Genesis 6:4. I'm going to bounce back up because otherwise the sentence doesn't make sense. So in the beginning there, he said, "And I said to the men who were with me, why are they so very withered, and their faces melancholy, and their mouths silent, and why is there no service in this heaven? And they said to me, these are the Grigori, who with their prince Satan, rejected the Lord of light. After them are those who are held in great darkness in the 2nd heaven. And 3 of them went down on to earth from the Lord's throne to the place Hermon, Mount Hermon, and broke through their vows on the shoulder of the hill Hermon, and saw the daughters of men how good they are, and took to themselves wives, and fouled the earth with their deeds, who broke the law and mixing with the women. Giants are born, and amazingly large men with great hatred." And then they have a note, and the note says, "The hill of Hermon could be Mount Hermon, which is mentioned over a dozen times in the Bible." We actually read it last week or the week before, a little bit.
Do we know where that's at today?
I don't remember off the top of my head. We could see, though.
Okay, I was just curious, sorry. Wait, I may have looked it up. Hang on, let me go see.
No, I mean, I'm curious too. So, Lebanon.
I think I did go. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Looks like Lebanon. Yeah, from Lebanon to Israel to Syria, potentially, just at a glance. That's what I'm getting. But I mean, if it's a mountain, like the Rocky Mountains run through, numerous geographical locations, but interesting. Let me break this out so I can easily pull it over. Yeah, that's what I got. Mount Hermon is an impressive mountain situated in the anti-Lebanon range and is now divided between 3 Middle Eastern countries, Lebanon, Israel, and Syria. Good question. Good question. And therefore God judged them with great judgment, and they weep for their brethren, and they will be punished on the Lord's great day. And I said to the Grigori, I saw your brethren and their works and their great torments, and I prayed for them. But the Lord has condemned them to be under earth until this heaven and this earth shall end forever. Verse 6, and I said, why do you stand there, brethren, and do not serve before the Lord's face, and have not put your service before the Lord's face? You could anger your Lord completely. And they listened to my advice and spoke the 4 ranks in heaven. As I stood with those 2 men, 4 trumpets sounded together with a loud voice, and the Grigori broke into song with one voice, and their voice went up before the Lord pitifully and touchingly. Now we're out of quoting text, back to the book. A central theme in the Book of Giants is the fact that the giants were the offspring of the Watchers and women and human women. This theme has varied somewhat between various copies of the Book of Giants. As it turns out, there are several versions of the Book of Giants, which was my freaking problem when I was trying to figure out how we were going to do this. One version of the Book of Giants was spread by the Menician religion. The book became widely read and now exists in Syriac, Greek, Persian, Sogdian, Uruguay, I don't
These
know.
texts hate you, Joe.
What is it?
Totally.
Who does?
These texts hate you. No, that's all I said.
No, these people would hate me though if they heard me
Yeah, there you go.
butchering their languages. And Arabic. Each version is somewhat different from that of the Qumran text, incorporating in each version local myths and legends and the various beliefs of the religions, which had adapted the story for their own purpose. Sounds like many, many, many of the other stories that we still have in the Bible. Mani, the founder of the Manichaean, it's the Manichaean, right?
Manichaean.
Is it Manichaean? God damn it. Of the Manichaean religion, needed to alter the story in order to fit it into his system. He taught a dualistic system of good and evil, the heavenly origin of the sons of God of Genesis. The Book of Giants, or the Book of Enoch, did not fit into Mani's conviction that evil could not come from good. Evil could not come from good. Thus, the angels, who were called the sons of God, were presented as demons and evil entities. This kept the separation between good and evil taught in his religion. Manichaeism taught a dualistic cosmology describing the struggle between a good spiritual world of light and an evil material world of darkness. These forces were distinct, separate, and always at odds. The forces of good and evil are at war. They battle throughout human history. The world becomes darker as light is gradually removed from the world of matter and returned to its place of origin, the world of light. Mani's beliefs were based on Mesopotamian Gnosticism and other religious movements. There are a number of similarities between Mani's Book of Giants and the stories of the giants related in the Enoch literature and in the Book of Jubilees. Both Enoch and Jubilees are part of the Ethiopic Christian canon. Mani's borrowed liberally from earlier Jewish traditions in his religious movement, adapting them as need. This idea was upheld by the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947. J.T. Malik discovered roughly 6 to 10 extremely poorly preserved manuscripts of an Aramaic Book of Giants, apparently the document used by Mani as the basis for his scriptural work. Their dates fall roughly across the 1st century BCE, so presumably the book was composed before this, although how long before remains open to question.
So are they saying Manny adapted prior Book of Giants into his own special Book of Giants?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
At least they're supposing it. Well, I mean, it seems pretty clear already that it's hard to trust any of it, because it seems like it kind of went through the ringer a bit before any of it.
Manny kind of sounds like a Zoroastrian.
Dude, thank you. Yes, because there's a lot of that I agree with. Like there's a lot of aspects.
Yeah, same.
From my whole light and dark theory. But yeah, I totally agree. I think I'd be interested to read his.
Wasn't he also a modalist too, as far as the Trinity was concerned? Or I might be confusing him with someone else.
Don't know. Didn't come up right away.
Yeah, it's kind of a sidebar. It doesn't matter.
Okay. The Aramaic version found at Qumran also describes the Sumerian hero Gilgamesh and the monster Humbaba. The Qumran text was in such poor condition and so fragmented that clear reconstruction was impossible. Pieces of the text are missing, and at times so difficult to reconstruct that the order of certain fragments are unclear. Thus, the order of certain verses in the text are best guess. That's a very dangerous game to play. Scholars have pored over the small fragments, comparing them to other versions in an attempt to determine the proper flow. However, versions vary so widely that there are places, for example, in the Manichaean version that have no analog to the Aramaic version. Even with parts of the text missing, the Book of Giants gives us information on how the ancients thought about fallen angels, the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the patriarch Enoch. Problematic. Certainly, the Book of Giants can be used to augment and expand on the story given to us in the Book of Enoch. The Aramaic Book of Giants draws on ancient Near Eastern myths, and the Manichaean version draws on Iranian myths. Two of the evil giants in the Aramaic version are named Gilgamesh and Hobabis. Gilgamesh is an epic figure in Sumerian and Akkadian literature, best known for the Epic of Gilgamesh, a beautiful piece of literature. A work whose importance in ancient Mesopotamia was comparable to that of the Homeric epics in ancient Greece. Gilgamesh was said to be the king of Uruk. Uruk was an ancient city of Sumer and later Babylonia, situated east of the present bed of the Euphrates River. Was Humbaba the Nephilim toddler? It made me think of Harambe, but that's probably just because of the squirrel thing right now, because everybody's bringing Harambe out of the grave because this new whatever the squirrel's name was, Peanuts or some thing. Some 30 kilometers east of modern As-Samawa, Al-Muthana, in modern day Iraq. I don't know, y'all. It is thought Gilgamesh lived sometime between 2800 and 2500 BC. The latest and most comprehensive telling of the Gilgamesh legend was the 12-tablet standard Babylonian version compiled circa 1200 BC by the priest No Shot.
Dude, don't even try.
Sinlequinin. I don't know. That was kind of offensive. If one views the map that follows, it is easy to see how an ancient poem of the king of Sumer could have influenced the religion of Mane, a Babylonian, since Babylonia is modern-day Iraq. Likewise, it is easy to see how the actual name of Gilgamesh and the legends of his great strength recounted in the epic could have been used in a text found along the Dead Sea, since Iraq is in the region. Indeed, the path of transmission follows the area of agriculture in ancient times. Let me make this bigger. Oh, that just messed everything up. Hold on. There.
Oh, nice. I like. Okay.
Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, it's not going to go any bigger.
Not even if you expand the margin or something, I guess.
No. But what
Okay.
I can do is I can save it and I can put it in the Discord chat. And do that. All right, I'm going to put the map. Actually, I'll put it in the Bible, just the normal Bible channel, so it doesn't get lost in the chat thing. Oh my God, did that even work? Yo, it's busted. I'll pull the picture out later. I'm sure you can also Google it.
Yeah.
According to the epic, Gilgamesh, a mortal demigod, meets somebody with a fantastical name.
Unapishtim.
Is that actually how you say it, though?
Yeah, Unapishtim.
Unapishtim. The Babylonian version of Noah and the only man to survive the flood. Unapishtim was made immortal by the gods. In the Manichaean version, the giant Hobabis, who is also called Humbaba, takes someone's wife. The giant falls out among themselves and begin killing one another, as well as other creatures. The giants Gilgamesh and Hobabis of the Book of Giants appear to be the same as Gilgamesh and the Humbaba Huwawa of the Gilgamesh epic. In another version, Atanbush is mentioned and seems to be the same as Utnapishtim, the immortal. Since there are lost passages in the Aramaic Book of Giants, he may have made an appearance there also. Malik has translated and published an edition of some of the Aramaic fragments of the Book of Giants, which tells of the angels Semhiaza, and Azazel, making a bet with God that if they were to descend from heaven to earth, they would be able to resist the urge to sin. However, soon they could not restrain themselves from becoming sexually involved with the women they found to be so beautiful, as this kind of relationship tends to loosen the jaws of men and angels. That's like an old school term. They found themselves revealing secrets reserved for heavenly beings and restricted from humankind. Semhiaza, I don't know, y'all. Semhiaza. What's the spelling?
I don't. It's a different language, but that's the pronunciation.
The Semhiaza with the Y, I think, is what Enoch, the one that we were reading, had. Begets sons named Heya, and Aheya. Heya and Aheya each have dreams foretelling their destruction. The angel Metatron, another name for the defied Enoch after his ascension to heaven, sends them a warning of the coming flood.
Sounds like a transformer.
I think that is the name of a transformer, isn't it? Metatron.
Is it really?
Or is it Megatron? I don't know.
Megatron. It's really close.
It's Megatron.
That's
okay.
funny.
Metatron is supposedly Enoch transformed.
Right.
Right. And we're gonna see Optimus Prime in the next chapter.
What does Metatron mean?
It means like new throne or something like that. The visible Yahweh. I think a lot of Kabbalists think that Metatron is the second power in heaven, the physical Yahweh. But I don't. But a lot of them think that. I'd like to see what Jared thinks about it.
Is Jared still here? Oh no, Jared's not here. Yeah, you should see. I'd be interested to know his take on it. Is a guide to humanity, and the speaker will hear. Metatron is the name of an archangel in Jewish literature who has many roles and responsibilities. Celestial scribe. Metatron is the scribe of the Book of Life, which records the choices made by all beings, both divine and earthly. God to humanity. Metatron is a guide to humanity and the speaker for God. Participant in liturgical ceremonies. Metatron leads and participates in liturgical ceremonies by invoking the divine name. Guardian of souls. Metatron is the guardian of all souls that ascend from earth. Presence of God. Metatron is granted the right to be in the presence of God. The name Metatron may come from the root RN, which means to guard or to protect. It may also come from the Greek word meta and korono, which together translates to one who serves behind the throne, or one who occupies the throne next to the throne of glory. So I guess that makes sense with
That's
what you were saying.
interesting.
Poptimus Prime.
That's fun.
It's a geometric shape. What?
Metatron's cube. It's esoteric.
Mm.
We could do a whole episode on Metatron's cube.
Yeah, I don't know jack about it. I'd be down to listen to you tell us about it though.
I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I know the basic gist. It's like Merkaba symbolism.
Okay. Archangel Metatron, the angel of life, oversees the flow of energy in a mystical cube known as Metatron's cube, which contains all of the geometric shapes in God's creation and represents the patterns that make up everything God has made. These duties tie in with Metatron's work overseeing the tree of life in Kabbalah, there you go, where Metatron sends creative energy down from the top, the crown of the tree, toward all the parts of creation. Here's how you can use Metatron's cube. What's that?
Can you put that link up somewhere? Dang it, Ghost, you open up this rabbit hole.
Yeah, here. It's in the Bible thing, like the regular Bible channel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, I won't take us too far into it, but I wanted to at least like get a quick breakdown.
For sure.
This is one of those things like I've never. Ghost brings it up, here and there. The sacred geometry, like I understand what it is, but it's something that I've never like committed serious time to, and I don't really have a good reason for why.
I just have more questions in that department, but I guess that's everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very broad topic.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that probably I just completely blocked out because I was so like biblically focused. But now that I'm not, that's probably something I should dedicate some time to. Floof said, "Oh, if it has to do with math, Ghost all up in it. He can have all of the freaking math. I want zero of it. I do math all day, and my eyes feel like they're gonna fall out of my head." Where were we? Metatron, another name for I read that. Both dreams predict the coming. Maybe I didn't read that. Metatron, another name for the defied Enoch after his ascension to heaven, sends them a warning of the coming flood. Both dreams predict the coming of the flood and the destruction of all human beings, except Noah and his 3 sons. The giants, who are the sons of the angels, I did read all this. The giants, who are the sons of the angels, are killed in the flood. Semihaza. Oh, that's the Semyaza. Give me the old one.
Yeah.
I got so used to the old one. This is aggravating hell. I'm glad I have you correct me every time. Repents and suspends himself upside down between heaven and earth. Azazel refuses to repent and becomes a demon who entices men to corrupt deeds and who bears the sins of Israel on the Day of Atonement. Although
that's Yom Kippur, I think, right?
Yeah, Leviticus 16.
I'm pretty sure that's what Day of Atonement is. Huh.
Hold up. Actually, we should read it real quick.
Sorry, we don't have to. I didn't mean to.
No, I mean, if it's there, we should. That would be the proper way to go about this.
Jared, if you are listening, man, that's why.
Leviticus 16, 7 through 10. Then he is to take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the entrance of the entrance to the tent of meeting. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats. one lot for the Lord and the other for the scapegoat. Aaron shall... I just realized you can't see this.
Yeah, we can see it.
There you go. It was like cut off by the chat, I think.
Oh.
One lot for the Lord and the other for the scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the goat whose lot falls to the Lord and sacrifice it for a sin offering. But the goat chosen by lot as a scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to be used for making atonement by sending it into the wilderness as a scapegoat. Is that...
Can you look up Yom Kippur really quick?
Yeah, is that Yom Kippur?
I'm almost certain. Let's YOMKIPPUR, maybe.
The underlying blood, gender, and power in Christianity and Judaism. Yeah, no, you're right. Yom Kippur literally means Day of Atonement.
Okay.
You are correct. Nailed it. Interesting. Saber-toothed cat, bird song. What a
That's
name.
Right.
What a name.
That Lord Help Us Tampa was the longest it could get.
She met her match. I feel like the randos that have the randos off the street sometimes have these long, not you Tampa, but the other randos that come in and shake things up on a random evening. I feel like they all have weird long names.
Yeah, I get that vibe right now too.
All right. I don't even know. Timeout. You can go on a 5-minute timeout. If you're still here, feel free to do emojis again, I suppose. Modeled after Cain being sent to Nod, wilderness land of wandering. Mark Cunningham. Hello. Hello, Mark. Lucio, Yom Kippur is the one day someone walks in the Holy of Holies. They tie a rope around him in case he blasphemes and drops dead so they can drag him out.
Yeah, that's why there's the pomegranate bells. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I mean, the Jews didn't mess around.
It's a funny insurance.
It's an interesting strategy, I suppose. Only a priest. Although there are parallels with the Book of Enoch, we must ask whether the Book of Giants is a Jewish work. Certainly, the discovery of the Aramaic version in the caves of Qumran points to the fact that the Essene community, a sect of Judaism, viewed that version as Jewish. The dates of the Aramaic manuscripts rule out the possibility of it being a Christian composition. However, the text contains Babylonian mythical material. This would seem to suggest the Jews borrowed from a polytheistic myth in a type of cross-pollination of mythical tales. The story does place the borrowed ideas into the proper light for Jewish literature. The Babylonian mythic figures are cast in an evil light and staged as wicked giants. Since some have speculated that the Book of Giants was either part of or an expansion of the Book of Enoch, also called First Enoch, we will examine the Book of Giants alone and also within the text of the Book of Enoch. There is a strong connection with the Book of Enoch in a section called the Book of the Watchers, 1 Enoch 1 through 36. The reader is strongly advised to read Enoch and especially that section before reading the Book of Giants. The story will make much better sense if you do. Because of the need for this clarification, the Book of Enoch will be included in the volume. So there's the missing link of why he put it together like this.
Yeah, it sounds like you're just getting the other side of the story. And given that they're technically other gods for other culture or religions, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right, for sure. And also is kind of curious why this author, who also authored the most popular Book of Enoch in English, also included the Book of Enoch in this. And now, he explained himself. It makes more sense. Thanks for sharing that, Lucio. Yeah, Lucio, I feel like the only interaction I've had with Lucio has been on the lives with him just randomly dropping pretty good information. And then he just disappears again for a while.
I'll take it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'll take it. There have been many attempts to reconstruct the... hold on one second. There have been many attempts to reconstruct the sequence and content of the Aramaic Book of Giants. There are instances where the various sequences of events are unclear. I generally follow Stuckenbrook's, what a name, Stuckenbrook's sequence of events. Since the text is so fragmented and at times not fully comprehensible, I never like hearing that. It is best to first present an overall flow or meaning of the storyline. We will now explore the story presented in the Book of Giants. Okay, because we're 10 minutes out, we're gonna just stop because I don't want to get into this one page and then have to pull out. So that's that. Do you guys want me to make a little forum thing for it in the stream section? Or do we not care? I'll do whatever y'all want.
This book is, yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I'm only one vote. Sorry.
The vote still counts, girl. I'll just go ahead and do it. Because in the Bible study section, we already have the Apocrypha thing. So I mean, it's Apocrypha
Are we gonna
enough.
that? Okay.
I guess, because that's where we had Adam and Eve too. Yeah, I don't know. We'll do that for now.
Is it made where I can find it though, Joe?
So are you on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
You can see it? Okay. So I guess for anybody who's confused, because the forums are kind of weird, and I moved a bunch of stuff recently. But in the stream section, I try to make it as simple as possible now, where we have Bible studies and we have the podcast topics. The podcast is Tuesday, the Bible study is Thursday and Sunday. So then in the Bible study thing, okay, it didn't cut off. In the Bible study thing, there are these tabs at the top. So there's Old Testament, there's New Testament, and there's Apocrypha. You can turn on all of them, and then you'll see all of them. So like you'll see Adam and Eve, which was Apocryphal. You'll see 2 Corinthians, which was New Testament. And then you'll see Genesis, which was Old Testament. Yeah, I'm going to put it in there. And then you can turn a tab off, and if all you want to see is the Apocrypha, all you're going to see is Adam and Eve. And then now you're going to see the Book of Giants too. But yeah, I think I'll just put it in there. And do you want a new one every week? How about that?
No.
Okay, so one big thread.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on that same. I think that makes the most sense.
It's like the Book of Giants isn't that long, is it?
It's not. That was a part of my issue, man, is when all of the copies that I could find, I spent several hours just digging through PDFs and old online archives and stuff. They were all stupid short. Like we'd be done in 20 minutes short.
Thank you for digging and trying.
I wanted to get to the bottom of it, see like what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I know.
And I found out that whatever it was months ago when you had brought it up, and I was like, oh, that sounds sick. And so I did like a quick search and I read about it, and there was tons of information, but I didn't look like at all hard, and I didn't realize that this is like 99% commentary off of this very small chunk of text. I didn't realize that until we had already like completely commit to it, and I was like, well, shit.
Well, that's why I think it should be all under the big one, because we've got so many different ideas and whatnot.
You mean to make like its own forum? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, don't do that. I think it's fine in the
where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it gets crazy, then we can do whatever. But I'll just put it here for now.
Yeah, maybe it should just be like the book of the Watchers, Nephilim, Enoch, Giants. It's kind of all part of the same family. So
that's a lot, man. I'm okay with just the Apocrypha. I'm gonna lose it, guys. I won't find it.
Right, but that's kind of like the only reason that I'm leaning towards making it its own thing. I don't know. We'll talk about it offline and figure it out. For now, it's in the Apocrypha thing. So if you come in there in Apocrypha, there's a thing there. So and same with like anything else, if you guys find articles or a commentary or whatever, a video, if it's short enough, like under 5 minutes, and you want us to do, like, we can do it on Thursday if it's worth it and adds context or is useful in some way, I'm definitely down. Scott said the big Apocrypha book I have only has 2 pages for this book. It's mostly fragments found in the DSS, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yes, that is what I gathered also. And it was hard to follow. It seemed like you just said it was very fragmented. So a part of me is kind of skeptical at like how the author is going to go about doing this. But I feel like he did a good job on Enoch. I know we didn't finish it on the live, but I read it years ago and it was well done. And if you dug, it didn't seem like he made a bunch of stuff up. So I have hopes for him. I feel like he's going to be honest. So funny.
I agree, but either way, I just want to know.
I mean, yeah.
It's definitely
Yeah.
boring. Thank you for doing this.
I mean, it's good. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. How many? So it's 222 pages, and we covered about 10. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit of time.
It's going to be a lot of rehashed Enoch material, though, right?
Yes.
Right. That's why I feel like there should be a little bit more validity to it. Like, yeah, we're getting the other side, but if a lot of it's lining up, you know,
even if not the other side, but more of like the broader context, perhaps. Because like if you read the book from like what I understand, and I could be wrong, is that the Book of Giants became separated. Yeah, if all on the presupposition that the Book of Giants is meant to be in the Book of Enoch, which even he said here is like probably, but don't know for sure. But if you assume that it's supposed to be a part of the Book of Enoch, you have these 2 versions, the Manichaean version and the Aramaic version, that were probably both transcribed from something earlier, whatever the original was, if there was a true original. But if nothing else, like in chapter 5 here, when from what it sounds like, he's going to blend them. So we'll get like the earlier context of Enoch into the Book of Giants, the later context of Enoch, and it'll probably flow. I think that is what'll probably make the difference. And it's probably why if you just go find a PDF version of it or get the book like Scott has, it's almost nonsensical because it's so short and it's not cohesive within itself. And being so short, it's impossible to make that make sense. So I think if nothing else, it'll be interesting. And he's also going to provide the history of the Book of Enoch, and it looked to be different than what was provided in his edition of Enoch itself. So either way, it should be good. It'll be interesting.
I think if we wanted to get the other side, we would be looking at like Mesopotamian Apkallu stories, and then we can look at the parallels, how they described the Apkallu versus how the Aramaic and Hebrews described the Nephilim, etc.
I thought this was in that area.
No, this is just like kind of like the Gospels. Like it's all the same story, but they're slightly different.
It's perspective.
Well, that I know, but
if you can find something like somewhat compact that we can read and put it in that Discord thing, I think
it might be difficult because a lot of it's like scholarship stuff. But I could probably find some I'll look for videos that maybe draw parallels.
Yeah, if you, either like a short video or a synopsis, or maybe even try to feed it to AI and ask it to make you a summary. It's not bad at it. I don't know how much you mess with AI, but you can give a scholarly article, 40, 50 pages, and it'll make you like a decent 1 or 2 page summary. But I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea. Yeah, I would love to do that. So if you could do that, if possible, and just throw it in Discord, I think that's an awesome idea. They are the Anunnaki Nephilim Nibiru, says Mark Cunningham. Mark, are you in Discord? Probably not. You should go to Discord. Mikkel just had me put the link there because we are done. So if you're watching this now, like Mark, and we don't know you, or you're watching this later, Discord link is pinned to the top of the live chat. There's also a link in the description of all the videos on this YouTube channel. When you come to Discord, most important thing is the events thing. We do this 3 times a week. We do Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's the canon, so the actual approved Bible. Tuesdays are a live topic discussion that everybody votes on. So it can be just something totally random, whether it's theological or just a concept. It's all over the place. Cultural sometimes, all over the place. And then Thursday tonight is the Apocrypha. We just finished 1st and 2nd Adam and Eve, Apocrypha being outside of the Bible. And now we're doing the Book of Giants. And we just began. So jump in Discord. It's free. It'll always be free. And that's where all these lovely people hang out, and they're a hell of a lot smarter than me, so it's a good place to be. There was something else, and I do not remember. We are a lot. I can't tell if she means that innocently, or if she means it like how I took it, meaning that like we're a lot. Like when white women say we're a lot. This was a lot. This was so much. Because I feel like
I think she's talking about the people watching the stream. Like it's more than 12 or whatever.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah,
It's an interesting topic.
yeah, I mean, it caught the algorithm for whatever reason. Any last words?
Let's eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm dying. It's been a very long day.
Yeah, I'm eating right now.
I love y'all. And again, for the 32 people who are not already in Discord, go to Discord. And if you don't like it, you can just leave. No one will ever know. It'll be very secret and private. You can just dance away in the darkness. But I think that you'll like it. So at least come check it out. Pizza time. I think it's meatball sub time in my house, which sounds
I'm eating meatloaf.
lovely. Noodles?
Meatloaf. I said
Oh,
meatloaf.
okay, good. All right, good. That's much better. Elle said our Tuesdays on your other channel. Good point. Thank you. So, good point.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to the Discord, which you need to, otherwise it's going to be very difficult to figure things out. The YouTube channel, you'll notice, is different, which is why I've been saying, if you're going to try to join us for all of them, just go through Discord. Because when you come in Sunday night, you can just click the link, and that'll take you to this channel that we're on right now, the live Bible study. On Tuesday, it's at Tattoo Theist, which is like my personal YouTube channel. Because Tuesdays get a little bit crazy, and we don't really watch what we say, and the topics can get a little bit wild. So those go somewhere else. This channel is strictly Bible study. It will never be anything other than going through literature. The Tattoo Theist thing is Crazy Town. So Tuesdays are Crazy Town. Thank you for pointing that out. And with that, I leave you, and I love you guys, and I'll see you Sunday night at 6 p.m. for the Genesises, which is getting close to being done. Love you, love it. Good night.